and welcome to day 12 of Knit a Rainbow's Vlogmas 2024. I am actually wearing this, but this was Vita Lifestyle 2022 Advent. This is the 2023 Advent, and now I'm working on the 2024 Advent. It has been nutso around my house these last couple days, and I am thrilled to be coming at you in the daylight. All right, so while we're talking about Vita Lifestyle, why don't I show you? Here was day 11, which starts, I told you it was going to be stripy. It's really pretty. Isn't it pretty? So this is day 11. So let's open up day 12. Day 12 is Foxy's Flavor. Oh, I knew this was going to look like Foxy. Foxy is Victoria's dog that passed away not too long ago. And she looked like a little fox. She's actually on here. She's right at the finish line. I had the pleasure of meeting Foxy a couple times. Oh, that's so pretty. That's gonna look nice. All right. Let's get to my Advent socks. They look so fun, don't they? I love it. Got those done. And now let me tell you the saga of Campside. So, settle in. No. It turns out that even though you write patterns, you sometimes don't read them properly. And I was going off the chart. I was down to the fourth and final chart at the bottom here, and it looked super simple, right? Just if you're on the right hand side of the center spine, we're going to yarn over, knit two together, knit one. And if we're on the left hand side of the center spine, we are going to slip, slip, knit, yarn over, knit one. I got it. I'm good. I'm good to go. No, I wasn't good. I wasn't good at all, because just like on chart 3, where there was that one tricky bit where it didn't really go like in pattern. I mean, it did, but you know, there was a lot more knit stitches before you started the yarn over and knit two or slip, slip, knit together. There were like, you know, I just started right away, like on the other ones, instead of looking at the chart and reading the chart or reading the written instructions, which this free pattern happens to have both. So for all of you watching this, if you haven't knit Campside, on chart 3, watch out for row 7. And on chart 4, just be mindful of row 3. Those seem to really knock me off my socks. And what I ended up doing, I had started last night, I had a vestry meeting at my church, and it was 2 hours long, and it was rainy and disgusting, and it was very, very long. So of course I was knitting, and I was knitting from this chart. And so everything that I had done for the 2 hours at church and the 2 hours when I got home and had to, like, you know, come down, and that not because anything bad happened, just because when I'm, you know, when I'm out and about, like, you know, I'm up and awake, and when I come home, I have to kind of settle down a little bit. So all that had to come out, but it only had to come out on the second half. And I tried to do I really tried to do the lace surgery, but it wasn't working out because I thought my issue was at the end of the pattern, but it was right at that center spine. So actually what I did was I took out 12 rows of knitting on the left-hand side of the center spine. It was exciting. And it, you know, it took 4 hours this morning that I didn't have. And I love how I was like, oh, you know what? Let me just cast on this. It's an easy free pattern. And I can do tips and tricks along the way. It'll, you know, be a little thing. I'll have an extra gift, a handmade gift for someone at Christmas. Anywho, I still have one thing left to knit for a gift besides Campside, and I am starting to get a little nervous about timing. So what I'm going to do is write myself how long I know it's going to take me to knit, and then what I have to do each day. I also have a pattern and some other stuff to prepare, which is going to be tomorrow. I am hoping to be all done with the knitting that I have to do by next Tuesday, and then I'm going to ship things out on Wednesday. I think it's the 18th, and that's when my daughter Marin is coming home, and then I want to be available to have fun for that week. Of course, I will still be bringing you all along, but I want to have things done a little bit beforehand. All right, Tabitha was here. We have absolutely no footage of us together. She took a picture of us in the morning and posted it on her stories. It was a horrible picture of me, but that's the way I look in the morning. And we just, you know, spent time together, and I didn't feel like going live. I didn't feel like, and I'm just doing things with my feelings these days because they tend to be right on. She did bring me yarn for the knit along, and I didn't know if I could talk about it, but I can. And here is the first. So there are several options going to be available, but the first option that I'm going to be designing in is this gorgeous yarn. Now, if you are not familiar with Tabitha's yarn, she is farm to yarn. She designs the yarn herself and then has them mill spun. They are very luxurious. They are from 100% American sourced, and it's just incredible. Her yarn is incredible. I've been in love with it forever, and this is her, I don't even know the name of it. I'll stick it in there. But here is the beautiful, look at those flecks of loveliness. So this is considered, you know, I would consider this like a DK weight yarn. So this will be the main color. There's a hint for you, the main color. And then there's going to be another color. I have chosen from my stash her picket fences. So this is going to be one version. There will be more versions. There will be colors. And I am so excited to get started on this. It's just a dream. It's a drapey, delicious dream. And I can't wait to get started on it. I love the natural colors. I love all colors. I'm knit a rainbow, but there is something about Tabitha's natural colors that really, really, really blow my dress up. I had some errands to run today, which I didn't bring my camera for. And I also, my sister-in-law is in town, and she's going to come over for some tea in a little bit. And I'm looking forward to seeing her. And we're just gonna have a nice dinner, and I will be knitting away or crocheting. I'm working on a crochet project that I cannot talk about. Zip it. But I have to say, I've had a couple questions about my hands and my wrists with all the knitting that I do. I do stop and take breaks. I do, stretch my wrists and my fingers. But I do find with crochet, it must just be the way that I do it, that my wrists I have to stop more often than when I'm knitting. When I'm knitting, it's very quick, and it's like tiny movements. With crochet, it is much more exaggerated movements with the way that I do it. My husband is on a Leave No Leaf Behind campaign, and he blows the leaves about 3 times a week. It must be his stress relief. He seems to always do it when I am filming, or I seem to wait until he's doing it to then film. But that is the lovely noise that you hear in the background that has now become part of the melody of my life. Lawn looks nice though. The technique for today is going to be the crochet cast on. It is one of my favorite casts on. I use it a lot in my patterns, and the reason for that is that, first of all, you can use, if you have that special skein of yarn that you don't want to waste when you're doing the long tail or different types of cast on, you start with a slip knot, so you have the power of how much yarn's going to be at the end. Whereas sometimes when you're doing the long tail cast on, sometimes you have enough, sometimes you don't, sometimes you have like 5 yards left over. I don't know. So what I do is the crochet cast on. Another reason why I love it is that it looks symmetrical to a bind off. So especially if you're doing like a cowl, or you want something where you're definitely going to go into the stitches later and pick up stitches at the bottom hem of like the quilted pullover or cardigan, then it's really nice to have those stitches, which I will show you here. It's really nice to have those stitches to go into because they look exactly like stitches. So here's the bottom, and you see how easy it would be to tell which stitch to go into, because it just looks like a bound off stitch. All right, so let's go down to my hands and talk about the technique for today. All right, the crochet cast on is one of my favorite techniques to use, and you are going to start with a slip knot on the crochet hook. And then you're going to take whatever working needle you are using, and you are going to hold on to the end of the yarn. You want your crochet hook to be the same size, a little bit bigger. You don't want to go smaller unless you're really used to the technique, because you can be quite tight and then the bottom will be too tight. So what you're going to do is bring your yarn under and around and simply pull it through that slip knot. Up and around and pull it through. Pull it through. The yarn comes around your needle and you pull it through the loop. Around your needle and you pull it through the loop. Around the needle and pull it through the loop. And you continue to do that until you have 1 stitch less than however many the pattern is. And then this last loop, you pull it up and simply put it on your needle. All right, so that is using a crochet hook to do it. Now, one time I was in the car and I didn't have a crochet hook. So what I did is I used my thumb as the crochet hook, right? So I imagined the, you know, the crochet hook, and I held the needle that I was working with, and I brought the yarn over the needle and pulled it through that first one and kind of pulled it not so tight, but tight enough, and replaced my thumb, pulled my yarn, brought it up around and pull and put my thumb in there. And so I tend to do it this way now. Instead of grabbing a hook, right? And the last one would go on. And it looks exactly the same. And just to show you again, here's where I did it on this pattern. So I would know when I'm going to, when all of the strips are put together and I'm going to pick up the bottom, right, to do the hem, I know that I'm going to go into this stitch and this stitch and this stitch. It's very, very easy to see. Here, let's pretend. So we're going in there, and here's the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So see how easy that is? Ah, look at that sunshine. Okay, happy knitting. Enjoyed that technique. It is something that I use constantly, and I hope you like that part where I told you that you don't always need a crochet hook, that I can use my thumb in instances where I don't have a crochet hook. And I really like to, I sometimes don't even use a crochet hook because I'm so used to using my thumb to do it. I hope you all have a wonderful evening with whatever you're doing, and enjoy. It's finally sunny here. It's fine. This is like the actual natural light right now. So I am just so thrilled that the sun is shining. I hope you all have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you tomorrow. That noise in the background is my husband, who is I did of how I ripped something out, you know, half of it, and left the other half, and just to show you how well, I think that's dumb to show. I don't think people are going to want to see that. I don't know what I should do for a technique.